Hello and welcome to True Talk Chelsea. This is the number one podcast for all your Chelsea wants and needs. We hope you enjoy. Name me a more underappreciated and underrated footballer in the world than Olivier Giroud. That's right, guys. Welcome back to True Talk Chelsea. I'm Palash, and for the next 10 to 20 minutes, all I'm going to be speaking about is one goal, one performance, one man, Olivier Giroud. Yes, with yesterday's goal against Atletico Madrid, Giroud bagged his sixth goal of the UEFA Champions League this season, which makes him the second highest goal scorer of the tournament. What is interesting is that he's played just 229 minutes. This makes it a ridiculous rate of 38 minutes per goal. And not only the goal, but the manner of them. Firstly, a winning goal, the dying minutes against Rennes, without which we probably wouldn't have topped our group. Next, against Sevilla, a poker, which included a perfect hat-trick. 2 goals with the left foot, one from the penalty spot, 1 goal from the right foot, and 1 headed in. And now, against Atletico Madrid, when we desperately needed that away goal, when we weren't able to break down the Atletico defense, who were probably playing with 6 defenders at the back, we needed that one moment of excellence. Right from the halftime, I recognized that the game was going to go this way till the final whistle. I understood that Simeone is going to settle for a 0-0 draw and would take it to Stamford Bridge. And without the away goal for Chelsea, it would become very difficult to get the better of Atletico at Stamford Bridge. Thus, what could have changed the game was one moment of excellence or one mistake, and we were provided that moment of excellence from Olivier Giroud. Marcus Alonso's cross deflected into the path of Giroud, and did he not take it well? Amazing overhead bicycle finish, which was initially ruled out for offside. But I actually want to include the point of VAR over here. You can see the kind of last touch came from Hermoso, which was the Atletico Madrid defender, and it was practically impossible for any human to make out who touched the ball last, whether it was Mount or the defender. But it is because of the technology that the referees were able to make the correct decision, and because of which there was a fair result. I've seen many people slander VAR, but had there been a fair game, a fair result without VAR yesterday? Definitely not. In my opinion, the bigger issue is the Premier League referees than the VAR. The VAR is not only used in the Premier League but other top 5 leagues as well, including the Champions League too. And there is little to no complaint about the usage of VAR in these leagues. Thus, I've always been a big supporter of VAR. Even on this podcast, y'all have kind of disagreed with me because of how many mistakes VAR has made. But I have always clearly said that the mistakes had more to do with Premier League referees than VAR. This was now a European platform with the UEFA Champions League. The VAR referee took a lot of time, but in the end, it is the correct decision that he gave. And honestly, if he wants to take that much time, it shouldn't be an issue. I saw many people getting impatient, saying that it's stopping the flow of the game, but I would rather stop the flow of the game for an additional 30 seconds than have a match-changing decision go wrong just because of time constraint. Thus, I've always been a big fan of VAR. Even though it's not necessarily benefited us domestically, it has extremely favored rival clubs like Manchester United. But yesterday, without VAR, such a good goal by Giroud wouldn't have stood. Coming back to Giroud, I mean, what a player and what a professional. Winner's mentality, that's all I can say. I mean, how can the same player... Let's start with the fact that he played for a rival club, Arsenal. He left Arsenal to join a direct London rival club to win trophies. And he did that In his very first 2 seasons, he won a domestic trophy followed by a European trophy, in which he was the top goal scorer of that tournament. Since then, Giroud has been bagging in European goals and now is currently Chelsea's third, I repeat, third highest European goal scorer of all time, even though he's been for the club for such a short time. The highest one being Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard, who spent many more seasons at Chelsea than Giroud. Giroud has actually overtaken, I think it was Fernando Torres, and is now the third highest goal scorer in European competitions for Chelsea. Actually, if you include UCL as well as UEL, I saw a stat. I'm not so sure how correct it is. I think it is because of the fact that Giroud got a lot of goals in the UCL the previous season and in the UCL this season. That Giroud actually has probably the same or just a goal or two lesser than Lionel Messi in European competitions. Obviously, got to acknowledge the fact that Giroud played UEL, which is a simpler competition, but still, that's an amazing feat. Giroud's that kind of player who, according to me, who you won't even see him in the entire game. But at the end of the day, the thing that matters is the goal. I mean, if you remove that goal from his performance, fans would probably slandering Giroud right now because of he couldn't do anything else. But his job as a striker is to score goals. And did he not do that yesterday? And did he not do that well? Such a good bicycle kick. And I was seeing the game, as you all know, I'm from India, and the Champions League games for us come from about 1:30 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. And then since it was near the hour mark, I'm not so sure about the exact minute. It would be around 2:30 to 45 a.m. in the night. I was extremely sleepy. The game wasn't end to end or quite entertaining either. It was Chelsea with the short passes or sideward passes. Atletico playing like Burnley. I don't know why did Diego Simeone settle for that. I think they had the capability of taking the game 2 hours and beating them. But at the end of the day, we were the team that come on top with a clean sheet plus an away goal. And I think it also has a lot got to do with the players that were unavailable for Atletico. If you see the likes of Kieran Trippier, who was suspended, let's just focus on the goal that went in, since that was the only deciding moment in the entire game. Marcus Alonso receives the ball with a lot of space. That's because the opposite wing back, which is Marcus Llorente, reminded that Marcus Llorente is preferred at centre midfield or attacking midfield. He was shifted to the right, which some might call as a right midfield, but is rightfully also a right wing back. Because of the space that he had, he could deliver a ball, even though the ball wasn't inch perfect or didn't even reach Giroud. But when it did, he finished it up very well. So yes, I was kind of overjoyed with that goal. Initially, when it got ruled out for offside, I did not think that the decision would be overturned, because the only angle shown on television was the one which was more focused on showing Giroud's position rather than showing who the ball, from which player the ball finally came off. And when we saw the angle, it was clear that it did not even involve Mason Mount. It was not like a deflection. It was completely played on by the defender to Giroud. And full credits to VAR for taking so much of time, as I've already said. And yes, Giroud stepped up whenever we needed him. Last season, 8 goals in 12 starts. In the second half of the season, when Batshuayi couldn't do us good, Tammy was misfiring. That's when we called upon Giroud. I think when Lampard called upon Giroud for the first time against Tottenham, and he rewarded it with a goal. And moving on, we also saw some very crucial goals. 1-0 victory against Norwich. Even on the final day, there was a goal against Wolves that secured UCL football. So I've already said this, I'm saying it again. If Chelsea are playing UCL football this season, it has got a lot to do with Olivier Giroud because of the way he uh, led the strike force in the second half of the season. Obviously, it was such a tight race between Chelsea, Leicester, and Man United. So, if Chelsea is playing the UCL this season, it has a lot to do with Olivier Giroud. If Chelsea went to knockout stages, which it did again have a lot to do with Olivier Giroud scoring 5 goals, including a poker and a winning goal against Rennes. And if Chelsea are to beat Atletico Madrid, it has definitely got a lot to do with Olivier Giroud, because of whose overhead kick we currently stand with one away goal, and I think we are in a firm position to win this tie. So that's probably all I have to say about Giroud. I think I'm just going to speak little about our coming game as well. It's against Manchester United. This is at home, and the previous game was cancelled out. It was a pretty boring, subdued 0-0 draw, but I expect it to be different. Obviously, Manchester United have picked up really good form, and as I've said, this is a 6-pointer game. If we lose this game, we not only miss out on 3 points, we also give 3 points to our direct top 4 rivals, Manchester United. And I think with the slip at Southampton, I think before the game we were 4 points behind Manchester United. Now I think it's extended to about 6. So as I was saying, this could be extended to a further 9, which would really not be favourable. However, if Chelsea do win the game, the difference between the two clubs can be reduced to just a single fixture, and I really think that this game is very defining for the top 4 race. And looking at the way we played yesterday, looking at the way we have played under Tuchel, 8 games, only 2 goals conceded, I don't think that top 4 should be such a big task for us, considering that Liverpool aren't in that great form. Leicester are doing well, but they slipped the top 4 last season as well. Manchester United can anytime. West Ham, they're doing amazing, but do they have the squad depth and to continue this form? I don't think so. So I won't see us not getting top 4, to be honest, but we definitely need to make the best out of fixtures like against West Ham, against Leicester, and against Manchester United, because all of these are 6-pointers. Quickly, I'm going to go through my predicted 11, rather a preferred 11, as I've recently been saying that these are the 11s that I would like Tuchel to field. Even though that's rarely the case, it's quite different. Even for Atletico Madrid, I chose quite a different lineup than what Tuchel actually played. For Manchester United, Edouard Mendy in goal. I think Mendy's best performance so far is Chelsea short career. Half of the season did come against Manchester United. Kept a very good clean sheet and man of the match performance. The back 3 is currently suiting Chelsea well, so I would continue with the back 3 of Andreas Christensen, who was rock solid against Atletico Madrid, Antonio Rudiger and Azpilicueta, in case Thiago Silva is fit for the game, which I'm not so sure about, but if he is, then I would bring him in instead of Rudiger. Then at right wing back, I think it's finally time for a recall for Ben Chilwell. I'm not disappointed by Marcus Alonso by any stretch of my imagination, but I do think that Chilwell deserves and should be given game time now. The right wing back, I would again also make a recall for Reece James over Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now the midfield too is a bit interesting, because I think that N'Golo Kante must be started in this game. Chelsea are expected to gain dominant possession, but Manchester United have played on the break against many sides, and if they do that tomorrow, Jorginho, does he have the pace? Does he have the recovery speed to match up with forwards like Rashford? You've got uh, Bruno, potentially Daniel James, all of them very speedy, even Martial. So I would go for N'Golo Kante for this game. I would go for a midfield two of N'Golo Kante and Mateo Kovacic. Then the front three, I would bring in some changes because Werner and Mount have been playing quite many games, and this seems kind of unfair to me considering that we've got so much quality on the bench, and it's not like Chelsea are scoring 3 or 4 goals every game. In fact, we haven't even scored 3 goals once since Tuchel took over. So as good as Mount has been, even Werner has shown good signs. I would drop both of them for this game, and I would get in Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech. And to lead the line, it is I don't know. This probably won't happen, but it is something that I do want to see. If not this game, definitely in the future, I would definitely like to see Kai Havertz as the number 9, rather the striker. But I don't see it happening this game. So I would go for Tammy Abraham up top. And this would be my 11. My score prediction, I do see Chelsea maintaining another clean sheet. And I can predict a 1-0 win again with the goal from, let's go for Tammy if he starts. Yes. So that was my prediction. And that was my predicted lineup. And a lot of appreciation for Olivier Giroud. So thank you for listening till the end. If you liked it, if you liked the podcast, make sure you subscribe to True Talk Chelsea. Make sure you give us a follow, like this video, and keep listening to True Talk Chelsea for more top quality Chelsea content. Thank you.